We are not doctors. Nothing in this podcast should be taken as medical advice. Consult your physician before starting any workout routine. This is the Martial Heart Podcast.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome back. Yeah, I know, not doing episodes very often right now. Things have been crazy, so I'm just trying to make do. We're gonna, not gonna explain a whole lot, but anyway, things have been crazy, and so I haven't had a lot of time to sit down and do these sorts of things. But I should be able to get back on track here pretty soon. And I just wanted to hop on and tell everybody that everything's okay. We're just working through some stuff, and everything's okay. And speaking of working through things, being on my own, trying to do my own cardio routine and trying to stay on track with what I was doing in cardiac rehab, hey, that's kind of it's an iffy sort of thing. And thankfully, I have a friend who's trying to help keep me on track. So we're touching base with each other frequently, often every day, just to find out, hey, what did you do today? Did you do your cardio today? So it's good to have somebody, watching and paying attention to what you're doing, because it's real easy. I had a sore hip for a while because I slipped on the ice. And so, I took a few days off of doing cardio and stuff, and hey, I was fine with it. I was fine with not doing the cardio. So you have to be careful of those things, because it's going to be really easy to just get into that routine of, I don't really need to work out. And I have this issue as well, where I spend all day on my feet, basically, and I do a lot of walking at work. Sometimes several miles worth of walking throughout the course of the day. And I sometimes can convince myself that, that's enough. I did enough exercise for today. I did more than an hour's worth of exercise, but was it intense exercise that's actually going to improve my cardio? No, not really. Sometimes you're just tired and you can't do it because you did walk for 4 miles today and you went up and down ladders and were crawling around in ceilings or in, crawl spaces and doing different things, carrying heavy stuff. And so you can pretty easily convince yourself that I did enough today. But what I did today wasn't really cardio. So it's not doing anything for my heart. It's good to stay active, and it's keeping other things working well. But, you can come home and be really tired or really sore, or maybe you overdid it a bit and, something hurts, and then you're just like, I'm not going to do the exercise tonight. And so I think it'd be easy to convince ourselves that what we did throughout the course of the day is adequate exercise, and we don't need to do that extra thing. And so, yeah, I was kind of reminded of that by my friend. And so last night I did 40 minutes of cardio on the elliptical, the dreaded elliptical, but I also went downstairs and worked out on the weight machine and did those sorts of things too. So I did a combination of stuff, and that's really what I need to do. And I did 40 minutes because 30 minutes was the standard at cardiac rehab. And so you would go in and you would do your 30 minutes. And I got into the habit of just doing the 30 minutes. And I don't know, you're going to eventually have to change that. Otherwise, you're not going to get the same level of benefit as you once were, because now 30 minutes of cardio isn't that challenging. It's still challenging, don't get me wrong, but it's not as challenging as it used to be. So you're sort of, you're shorting yourself, and you have to continuously challenge yourself. And if it's too easy, then you're doing it wrong. You're going to have to kick it up a notch in some way. Either if you're on a treadmill, kick up the incline another notch, or, go one notch faster or something. On the elliptical, there isn't really any way. I mean, you can change the resistance on it. So that'll probably be the next step, as opposed to just going longer because if you don't have the time to spend, 45 minutes or an hour on the thing, you're going to have to crank up the resistance so that you're getting a harder workout in the shorter amount of time. So I could go back to the 30 minutes, but it's going to be more challenging. So yesterday I didn't do that. I just went ahead and kept going. So when I hit 30 minutes, I just said, I don't know why I would be stopping right now. I'm just going to keep going. And I kept going. So I did 40 minutes on the elliptical. At first, I thought, I'm going to go ahead and do 45 minutes. And then I decided that might be too much. Increasing by 50% might be too much at first. So I went ahead and just said, no, I'll stop at 40. I could have kept going. It's very, very challenging because on our compact elliptical, your knees never lock, so your legs are never straight. So you're in a constant state of tension with your legs, and it can be quite challenging. And it's a short, well, they call it a compact elliptical, so your legs aren't moving in long strides, so that increases the pressure on your quadriceps and stuff and your knees a little bit. But it's just one of those things that I'm going to have to work out on my own, because 30 minutes on the settings that I'm using now just isn't going to be enough. So in order for me to continue improving my cardio, I don't want to overdo it. I keep getting warned from people, don't overdo it. You don't want to put too much strain on your heart at this point. And I understand that, and I'm trying not to do those things. But until I don't know, we bought this compact elliptical, and it has the pulse reader thing where you hold on to it while you're using it and it'll read your pulse. It's totally wrong. It's way off. But this was an inexpensive, elliptical thing we ordered on Amazon. It's a Chinese-made thing. So I didn't really expect much other than maybe it'll work and we can use it to exercise on. But, none of it's accurate. So I need to find a better way of tracking my heart rate while I'm exercising. And yes, we have a pulse ox thing that you can put on your finger, but you're getting sweaty and you're moving around, and it's not going to stay where it needs to be, and therefore it's not going to be accurate either. So I don't know. I'm going to have to come up with something where I can track my heart rate so I can stay within that target zone. But other than that, everything else is going fine. We're having a mix of nasty weather. It's been really cold, and then it warmed up, and it's been in the 30s for the last couple of days. And then we're going to have another dramatic drop in temperature Sunday night into the next week. So it's going to be very, very cold after it's been warmer and things have started to melt and melt off. And so we're going to have a lot more moisture out on the roads and yards and on driveways and stuff. So depending on how much it starts melting before it starts to freeze again, we might have ice patches everywhere. Monday is a holiday. It's a federal holiday, so a lot of people will be off. Not people who actually work for a living, but a lot of other people will be off for the federal holiday, because I don't get the holiday off. It's another one of those federal holidays where only federal employees are going to be given those times off. Federal employees, state and county employees. In other words, people who work for the government are the only people who get it off. So I've never worked anywhere other than when I was in the military, where I got holidays like Martin Luther King Day, Veterans Day, and things like that off. You got like the big ones. You got Christmas Day, Thanksgiving, Labor Day, Memorial Day, and the 4th of July. That was about it. That was really it. So, good luck, everybody. Hey, have a great day on Monday for your 3-day weekend. Most of us aren't going to have it off. Eventually, it's not going to be most of us. We're going to be the minority, because everybody's going to be working for the government eventually. That's kind of the way it's looking. The government is the only thing that continues to grow at that kind of a rate. Federal, state, and local governments keep growing. So eventually, what is everybody going to work for the government? Is this going to be just like China or something? I don't know. It's troubling. It's a troubling trend. Government should not be growing. It should be shrinking. The bare minimum amount of governance, to survive as a nation is what you should do. That's my opinion. But that's a politics discussion, and we're not doing that here. This is the Martial Heart Podcast. So I just wanted everybody to know that I'm doing okay. I still have the occasional issues with the chest pressure and things like that. Trying to work through that. I don't know if anything's actually working, but it comes and goes. And if I get, like I said, if I get upset, if I get worked up, if I get angry, then I start to feel it right in there. And it's the weirdest thing that thing can, manifest itself in a physical way. So I'm still not used to that. I don't think I'm ever going to get used to that. I'm hoping that that eventually goes away and I don't react that way anymore once my heart's had enough time to heal and adjust to the new normal, things like that. Hopefully it'll work, but everything else is fine. Everyone is fine. We're all going to be fine. We still have some challenges ahead that we're going to get through, and some surgeries and stuff that are going to happen. So we've got to get through those things, and then we'll be fine. Maybe we'll be able to relax a little bit. I wanted 2025 to start off much better than 2024. So far, no, it's not. 2025 looks like it's going to be a very expensive year. Judging by the way it started, it's going to be an expensive year. So anyway, wish me luck, but I'll be back soon. I have a couple of more things that I need to take care of before I can get, fully immersed into this. I need to go back to martial arts training thing. I have a couple more things to work out, and to make sure that I actually am ready for that. So eventually that's going to happen. I was hoping that would happen this month. The way things have started, I'm not sure because we're already halfway through the month, a little more than halfway through the month. And it hasn't happened yet. So, but soon. I'll be working on that soon. And then, we can maybe incorporate some of the video from those sorts of things into the podcast. And eventually, I think this podcast will just stop unless there's more interest that arrives eventually. This was a very specific podcast about a very specific thing for a very specific person. So I don't think it's appealing to a lot of people out there in the world, just people who know me and have been along for this journey with me after having a heart attack or have had heart attacks themselves. And I've spoken to as probably the only people who are listening to this one. So family members, friends, and other heart attack survivors. And that's fine. It's fine. I didn't get started in this for this to be a job anyway. So I'm going to keep doing it for a while. I don't know if it peters out and nobody's listening, then I'll just stop doing it. But for now, I'll keep doing it. I do not have the time to do it every day like I was for a while. But I guess that's a good sign. It means I'm healthy enough and I'm physically capable of doing more things. So it's eating up more time and it's giving me less time to do stuff like this. But I do enjoy doing this. So I have another podcast that I'm doing too. And you've probably seen the audio testing one that has been just a nightmare. But it's fun to do. So I'm going to keep doing podcasting in one way or another. But I don't know if this one will continue. But if I have another heart attack, I guess I won't have a choice. But I'm not. Hopefully I won't be having another heart attack. But it's possible. So it's one of those things that people in my situation have to live with for the rest of your life. It's possible you could have another one. And they say that the likelihood of having another one is really high in your first year after having your initial one. So I'm only halfway there. I've got to get through this first year without having a heart attack, and then I'll have beaten the odds maybe. And, never have another one. And it's weird because that happens where somebody can have a heart attack and have a serious issue like me with having 5 blockages, which is crazy. But never have another one because it was taken care of and you made the necessary changes in your life to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And which I thought I was doing all the right things to begin with, but apparently I wasn't. So who knows? The things I'm doing now may not be the right things either. I don't want to think about that right now, though. We're going to move on from there. But yeah, I think we're at the 6-month mark, and I think, aren't we? Yeah, almost at the 6-month mark. And I feel good. I feel okay. Still have a couple of issues, but I think the heart is healthy. as far as that goes. It's as healthy as it can be, and I don't have any issues there with my heart and in my chest when I do exercise, even if I exercise pretty intensively. So, um, intensely, stumbling with my words a little bit because maybe, my cognitive abilities have been affected, which is funny because uh, I occasionally think that. And I've had memory issues for the last, handful of years where I can remember the dumbest thing from 40 years ago. I can remember insignificant things that happened when I was 5 years old in vivid detail. Even something that was 10 years ago, I can remember everything about it. But, something that happened last week, my short term memory is really getting bad. And so now, whenever I do forget something that I shouldn't have forgotten, I just blame it on a heart attack. Like I had a heart attack, it affected my cognitive abilities and my memory, which may or may not be true. But funny story. This last week, I I went to the wrong place. It was all inside a giant complex of buildings, and they're all connected. And so I'm with a coworker, and we need to go to the right and go down this to this end of the building. And I've been here dozens of times, not just a few times, but probably over 100 times, maybe over 200 times since I've worked here. And I know exactly where I need to go. And we had already gone there a couple of times that day. Go to lunch, come back, start walking, go the wrong direction. I go to the left. I go to literally the opposite direction of where I need to be going. And I go all the way. And then when I get there, I'm like, what the hell am I doing over here? And the other guy's like, I don't know. I was just following you. I figured you knew what you were doing. I didn't want to ask. We walked to the entirely wrong area of the place. Turn around, go back, go do our thing. Later the same day, I did it again. I walked to the wrong end of the building, all the way to the other end of the building. And then, I go to touch the call button on the elevator, and he was like, are we doing this again? Is there a reason we're over here this time? And I was like, no, there's not. What the hell am I doing over here? So I started blaming that on the heart attack. Don't know. Maybe I was distracted or something, but I literally was going the wrong direction. And it happened more than once on the same day in the same building. So, getting old. That sucks. Don't get old. But, 57, I guess, isn't old anymore. It used to be old. It's not as old as it used to be. A lot of people in their 50s are a lot more active than they used to be in the old days. But I want to be that person. I want to stay active. By the time I'm 79 and on my deathbed, I still want to have nice abs. I don't know. I don't know what we'll do about it, but I don't have nice abs right now, which is weird. Let me explain something about my physiology. It does the opposite of anything I ever wanted it to do. So I'm actually putting on weight now that I'm on a healthier diet all the time, trying to eat a healthy diet all the time, and eating specific types of foods and avoiding other types of foods. And like only rarely do I have red meat anymore. And there's been a lot of chicken and a lot of vegetables and things like that. More fruits in my diet, which is cool. I've always been fond of fruit, and not all kinds of fruit, but I love fruit. And the last few years, I've kind of just neglected that thing. I haven't eaten enough fruit, and there's a lot of good stuff in fruit. So I've increased the fruits and the vegetables and reduced the red meats and the fats and things like that. So I'm doing a lot of lower fat kind of consumption, and I'm putting on weight. So I don't know what's going on. I'm exercising and I'm eating right, and now I'm putting on weight. So now I'm going to have to go and adjust my portions and things like that. So it's weird. It's really weird. And it is kind of counterintuitive, because when I was on a keto diet, I was eating fat all the time, and I had to supplement my fat intake, because no matter what I did, I couldn't eat enough of it to maintain the ketosis kind of thing. So you would have to supplement your fat intake with different things. And I would lose weight. And it just doesn't make sense initially. But now I'm on this low-fat diet and I'm putting on weight. And it's probably the carbs. So I'm going to have to cut back on the carbs and, maybe watch some portion control. But we'll see. It's not like I've put on 20 pounds, but I have put on 10 since I had the heart attack, I think. I think it's 10. Getting close to 10 pounds post-heart attack. But we'll just tell everyone that it's old muscle. I put on the muscles. It would be a lie, but we could tell them that anyway. So I'm going to go, and I'll keep you posted on the progress, on the weight loss, on the cardio, on the chest pressure, and the eating right, and all of that stuff. And take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend. It's Saturday, the 18th. Already. 2025. Already off to a great start. Hooray. I hope it's been a great start for you. But I hope it's been a less expensive start for you than it has been for me. But take care of yourselves. Eat right. Exercise. Get off your ass. And go do something. Anything. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Bye.